All right, ladies, buckle up. It's showtime.
And welcome aboard, everyone. Copperhead Road Podcast live on Rumble, always live on Rumble. That's the way we like to do things here at the Copperhead Road compound. We don't like to fool around. We don't like to play games with other things. We start with the best, and then we allow the inadequate streaming services to pull from the Rumble, where we choose to be adults and have content uncensored. Now, we love Spotify as well, but Rumble is right there. I'm your boy Footer. That's my man Rex. Got Jen behind the glass, and we are ready to rock on some creepy / interesting shit that I actually discovered it a while ago. I think I sent you something about it, forgot about it, and then you brought it up to me later. Had no idea what you were talking about, and then it kicked into me out of nowhere. So it's been on my mind, not on my mind, but we're gonna bring it to your mind. So what else we got? A lot of good things. Otherwise, got a lot of shit going on in the world. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like Iran, us and Iran, very tedious, very tumultuous. Other things with T's.
To be honest, all I've been thinking about is what I can make out of pull it from the Rumble, and nothing's really coming to mind. But it really it kind of stuck in my head as something that should be something. Pull it from the Rumble. So yeah, we have that, which is nothing. Maybe we'll talk a little bit about the Super Bowl. I mean, because that's kind of a thing for some people, not me, but some people enjoy that thing. And then the online cult. It's an online cult. It's tied into video games. The 764 phenomenon that's been going around since I think it's almost 11 years now is disgusting, frightening, and I've put it everywhere that I can. Please, for the love of God, if you're a parent, especially if you're a parent of a tween or teen, make sure you're looking at your kids' devices and monitoring who they're chatting with, because it is fucking frightening what's going on with this. And not only 764 exclusively. Roblox is having a huge issue. They're being sued by parents and things or whatever. So
it's been like that, and it's been like that. This is nothing new. This meaning Roblox. This has been from the inception of that game coming out. All of these games just having a server connected. But you know, and Rex is right. You know, you gotta look at your kids' devices and see what they're looking. But the truth of the matter, it starts way before that. You know what I mean? Of course, double check, but go into it being so confident you've done the right thing prior that you're going to find nothing. And if you found something, great, you caught it. But this is so much deeper than just the access to these creeps getting to your kids and your kids. It's more of don't let your kids be ignorant to see what's going on. Remember, they are children. You know what I mean? Your role as a parent is to make sure that they are aware of these things in beforehand. You know what I mean? And then because they're kids, we assume they're going to make poor decisions, so we check. But this thing needs to be this should have been well addressed way before you know, your kids getting on social media and or gaming that's to a server. You know what I mean? So you know, don't be surprised. Oh, I check my kids' devices. At that point, it's too late.
Right.
You know what I mean? So
if you haven't given your kids a device yet, don't start. If you haven't allowed them to go onto social media, don't start. And remember how you were when you were a kid. You didn't really feel like there was, you felt invincible. You would, walk by the guy in the classic guy in a van with candy, and you may even throw something at him because you're just teasing him because you don't think that anything can happen. Now take that danger and multiply it by, I don't know, 1,000, million, whatever, and apply it here because now you're not worrying about your, the creep that lives down the street. You have 1,000, 10,000 creeps who live down everybody's street that have access to your kids. So hopefully, if anything else, I know we're not going to bring anything funny, but at least we'll bring some serious messaging to you about this and make you think twice at least.
Yeah, and my only other contrast opinion to that is, if that's what you choose, you don't want to let your kids have social media. That's great, but look, society sometimes. Your kids have to maybe have something to interact with their kids. You're going to monitor it. Rex takes his approach. That's one approach. If you do choose to let your kids have social media, because the way you look at it is like a gun. You know what I'm saying? There's kids that are young kids that a parent will show them and give them a gun because they're legally can have a gun. So again, I'm not saying don't give your kid the gun. I'm saying properly train your child how to use the gun. You know what I'm saying? Is my point. So I'm not saying you have to say, kids, you can't have social media. Okay. If it was my opinion, maybe that's what I would do. But again, I'm not going to tell you how to parent. Okay. And I don't think Rex should either. But we will tell you, make the analogy with the gun. The kid, okay, you want to have your kid learn to hunt? You want to have your kid learn to be out in the, I don't know, you made a frowny face. What's up?
Nothing. I will tell you, don't let your kid have social media.
I just said that's what you would say.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm saying to you, if you don't choose to do what Rex does and you choose to let your kids have social media, make sure it's being done responsibly. The same way if you gave a kid a gun, again, Gad, you have something to say? You made a face.
I don't.
Okay. So again, if you're going to give your kid a gun because you want to teach your kid to hunt, you understand what I'm saying? You're not going to give the kid a gun and go, toodaloo, see ya. You be a parent. And that was my point to the beginning, because everybody's not, you need to have realistic goals. Okay. You choose to do that. Doesn't mean that's right. Other parents will choose that aren't wrong, will choose to let their kids have social media. You need to monitor them and be a parent. You know what I'm saying? Closing your children's eyes to things and keeping them in a bubble is not going to protect your child. You being a parent is going to protect your child. If you choose to keep them in that bubble, that might work, and that's great. But the ones that don't have the resources to, because maybe they don't have enough time to be around their child, or don't have the fail safes in play, you need to figure out something. And it comes with educating your children. Bottom line.
And there's apps you can download, like a family link that monitors from your own phone, and you can allow them to not talk to other people online.
Yeah,
and even, that aren't in their friend group or something.
And even using your gun analysis, which I think is a good one. It also, if you are teaching your kids how to use guns, you're also going to lock them up in your safe. You're not going to allow them to have access to it without your monitor. So, all those things are important, again, because it's alcohol, drugs, they're all things that are alive and well in the world. And as a parent, you're ultimately responsible for what happens with your kids. So
exactly. And like I said, you're not going to be able to protect them from everything all of the time. If they're going to want to smoke a cigarette, keeping them in the house every fucking moment of the day because you don't want them to smoke a cigarette, that's one option, sure. But let's say you want your kid to go out in the world and experience life. Teach him not to smoke cigarettes. Teach him not to do these things. Explain to them. Train your children in the right way. Parent your children in the right way. Don't go out and blame computers. Don't go blame society. You have fucking creeps. You know what I'm saying? You have bad parenting. Those two things are a fucking disaster mix. Bottom line.
For sure.
What gets them there at this point, it doesn't matter. Because, they're going to find trouble if you do not teach your children. As we said, you know how many times I've taught my and went over with my children, about understanding, and we've talked about this on the show from Peretti going out with a gun to a protest. Like, you need to think about what can happen. You understand what I'm saying? It doesn't mean don't go. You can't go out. Don't you dare go out. No, you can't have a phone. Oh, I'm sorry. If you didn't teach your kid not to be a piece of shit, and you give your kid a phone, and he's a piece of shit, that's on you. It's not on the phone. It's not on the kid. It's not even on the piece of shit really that he's talking to. Sure, he's responsible. You know what I'm saying? But like, you are responsible. Don't blame the phone. Don't blame the fucking, you are the problem. So you need to make sure that you take your kids and you get them in a position where even if they're I don't give a shit if they have access to the fucking dark web at a snap of a finger. How about you let your kid know you can't go on the dark web, is my point. You know what I'm saying? There's only so much we can do as parents. We do as best we fucking possibly can. And like Rick said earlier, think back how when you were a kid. You understand what I'm saying? The problem was not the access. People were still getting fucked with without computers. And you know why? They had shitty parents. That's why. They had shitty parents.
Yeah. And again, the situation is just magnified because the access is so much greater. So anyway, we're going to talk a little bit about that. I do have to ask you, did you watch any of the Super Bowl?
No.
You didn't.
Nope.
I didn't know if maybe you attended a gathering or something where the Super Bowl was on or anything like that.
No, I went and had dinner and stuff, but nothing to do. Zero to do. I was back at my house by maybe 8:30.
Yeah. When does the game even start? 8:00.
I think maybe 6. I think by the time I was ready to watch the game, if I wanted to, it was probably like in the third or fourth quarter. So maybe 8:00, 8:30 at that point, maybe a little bit less. No, I was probably in like the third or fourth quarter.
So a lot of people had a problem with the halftime show with Mr.
As they
Bunny.
should.
Yeah. Wasn't good, wasn't representative of America. There's a lot of things going on. My question is why
wasn't even representative of entertainment, in my opinion.
That's
so
true.
Like, I don't get any of this. You know what I mean? Like, if I'm making this up, if Michael Jackson came out, you know what I'm saying, and did Beat It in Spanish, maybe some people would be mad he did it in Spanish, but at least you go, damn, that Michael Jackson, what a fucking star. Yeah, sure he sleeps with children, but God could he write a song?
Yeah.
God, could he dance? What is Bad Bunny doing? I've had it. I've had it with this. I've watched too many liberal fucking cop cam videos today, is what the problem is.
Oh, really?
I've had it. Because this whole everything is okay thing. Look, I've said it 1,000 times. I'm okay with figuring shit out. I have no problem with exceptions. I can have empathy. I could be nice. I can have all those things, but not have to deal with this horse shit. Like, this is disgusting to me. Absolutely disgusting to me. But you know what? I saw TPUSA's halftime show. I can promise you that. I made sure I saw that, and that was freaking brilliant.
Yeah, it wasn't bad at all. Going back to the Super Bowl, like yes, you can have a problem with the halftime show, which I think the majority of people watching it did. They did say, well, the numbers went up on during the halftime show, so that means people like it. No, what that means is that people left the game on, and then you had mothers and wives and stupid people tune in specifically for the halftime show, and then they dropped off.
And people want look. I'm going to be honest. Like, they rage baited America, and you guys bit, and agreed. Look at me. Yeah. I'm enraged by it. So you know what I'm saying? Like it worked. What do you think? He did that strictly on his talent alone? No, it was done to show how wonderful and inclusive we are.
Well, inclusive of other people, but exclusive of Americans.
Correct.
And the thing is my argument is, why are you watching the Super Bowl at all? Because when we were kids, it was a reason to have a family gathering, a social gathering. And the same thing with the Olympics. I remember when I was a kid, the Olympics were a big deal. Like me and my family and friends, we specifically traveled like 45 minutes to go watch the Olympic torch run down the street. Actually, it had a human with it. It wasn't just a torch, but that was a thing. Like saving newspaper clippings, but like they've done this with everything. They've ruined the event as a reason for family and friends. You know, it's just like Thanksgiving. It was that kind of a thing. The same thing can be said with the World Series, NASCAR, the Grammys, the Oscars. Like these are all things where people would put their politics aside and enjoy them for whatever they were. So I don't understand why, you know, you had a Patriot, somebody on the Patriots or whatever, turn their back to the flag. You had another one showing up in a convict uniform and chains because, you know, he's obviously, you know, a convict because he's black. Like there's no room for that. You have Olympians saying, well, you know, I don't really like the things that are going on with America. And just because I'm wearing the patch doesn't mean I represent America. Actually, that's exactly what it means. These cultural events
and you should be representing it and everything you stand for.
Right.
And everything you stand for.
But like things exciting used to happen in sports. I mean, you had
but to be fair, you are kind of muddying the two. The ones that wanted to watch the Super Bowl watch it because they love football. Football is the most popular sport in the world. You understand what I'm saying? So at least that
in America, you know, it is.
Yes, Rex, not football, not soccer everywhere else. But what I'm saying is, I'm just trying to be consistent here and being like, well, that's the reason why people watch the Super Bowl. That's people watch the NASCAR. People watch the Olympics because they are into the sports. Where the problem now lies is the ones that don't and watch it for patriotic reasons. As you said, I don't know why they watch it. But the Super Bowl people watch it because they love football.
Yeah, but I mean, like, even if you do I never really understood watching, even if you like football, there's no reason you should be watching the NFL anyway, because that's a poor representation of actual football. But then you have the argument of, okay, why are you watching it if your team isn't in it? Again, it's a cultural event. You're getting together, and it's a reason for, you know, overweight white guys to eat a bunch of Doritos and drink beer.
Right, and then there's still nothing wrong with that. That's my point. Is like that. I can see why everybody's doing that because that's what they want to do.
Yeah, but I mean I just don't understand the draw to something that is openly hating you. Like they're mocking you,
Rex. But this is what I'm trying to. I'm just asking you to have an open mind because I'm trying to give us more validity when we say other things. You asked the question why. Please just accept and listen to the answer. There's an answer because people enjoy sports. People enjoy getting together. Everything you just said isn't consistent with why they watch the Super Bowl. They don't care if they're against you because they're not watching it. The ones that are, then yeah, but that's my point. But I've answered your question. You know what I mean? That's why they're watching it. There's nothing to do with politics or anything like that. The outrage comes from when you can't believe what they're doing later on outside of the game and the entertainment factor. Is my point.
Right, but I mean,
you never want to. You ask questions, but you don't want an answer because you're so stuck on your way, and that's it.
Why don't you just keep us arguing with me and fucking telling me how I'm wrong? That's a lot more entertaining.
I'm trying to have you be consistent with the point because when we later on talk about things, it makes it seem like Rex doesn't understand why people watch the Super Bowl. I'm trying to give you your answer. I'm sorry it doesn't agree with you, and I'm sorry you can never want to admit or bend to go, you know what? I could be wrong there. I mean, Jesus Christ, dude. You asked a question, and you got an answer, but it wasn't good enough. So don't make this about arguing. This make it about fucking, how about being open-minded and not always, it doesn't always have to be your way, and that's it. I don't get that.
Again, I'm just
trying to tell you.
I know. I'm trying to.
Frustrating for me, the listeners, and it fucking ruins any credibility. That's why. I mean, come on.
So the past, I believe it was like 6 to 8 years, maybe even as much as 10. There's been a slow decline in watching of general societal gatherings. Again, Super Bowl, World Series, Grammys, Oscars, things like that. But then something has happened since I think 2019, 2020, where the incline is coming back up. So I guess my question is that what was the cause of the decline, and why all of a sudden is there an incline? Is it because we're starting to not pay attention so much to the sport and so much of the pageantry? Again, even like with the halftime shows and things that are the commercials was always another big thing. What's causing its resurgence?
Oh, you tell me. What is it?
I'm asking.
It's I don't know. I don't know what it is. I can probably tell you why it declined, but
okay,
there's probably many reasons why it declined. It could be the league was the league was on strike in this year, or this happened this year, or there's probably a million reasons why. But are we gonna? What is it? All political?
I don't know. I honestly I don't know why there was a decline.
Well, why? Okay, so what do you think the resurgence is? You don't know, or
I don't. That's why I'm asking.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know. I would think that people, again, it could have been financial for all those years. People didn't have the money to throw parties, to go parties. It wasn't as important to them because that wasn't the mentality. Maybe because of COVID at the time, the games were bad because nobody could. I don't know. I'm just saying there's probably a million reasons why. Why is the insert? I don't know. I don't know what the insert. I didn't know there was a big resurgence.
Not huge. So, it's not like a V, but there was a low point in the the late teens, and now it's starting to sort of climb up. And that's not true overall, but certainly in like if we're going to use the example as the Super Bowl, the only reason I can think of is that they're starting to appeal, and Bad Bunny is a perfect example of it. They're starting to appeal to people that aren't involved or aren't necessarily excited about the game itself. It's the periphery stuff. It's people that are tuning in because they want to see Taylor Swift at the game, or they want to see the new commercials. And again, it's not as sports driven. And when it was sports driven, you had all of the sports people who liked it. Then when
without a doubt, the Bad Bunny thing had everything to do with, hey, look at us. We're going to have this guy singing and speaking all in Spanish. It was definitely this halftime show was exactly that. Nothing but a what's a blatant dog whistle? You know what I'm saying? A whistle, a coach's whistle. When you hear, would that be the opposite? I mean, that's what this halftime show was. No doubt.
And Tyrus had brought up a good point. He had said that, halftime shows and especially in an arena like that, the really only people who really sort of shine in that kind of a thing are rock bands. It's very hard for a singular pop singer, or a single voice or whatever that's just gonna dub over or lip sync to something that's recorded to actually put on a decent performance. So it's obviously not about the quality of the performance.
Can you pull up the last 10? I can do it. The last 10 Super Bowl halftime shows.
Yeah, and I know that there was another number that I heard that the last white person was in like 2019, and that was Eminem or something like that. And so it hasn't even. I want to say the last one was. All
right, you ready? I'll tell you what it is.
Eddie?
You had Bad Bunny. You had Kendrick Lamar.
Yeah.
Then you had Usher, Rihanna, Dr. Dre, Snoop Dogg, and Shakira and Jennifer Lopez. You had Alicia Keys with Little John and Ludacris. Again, like I said, Rihanna in 2022. 2021 was The Weeknd. 2020 was Shakira, Jennifer Lopez. 2019 was Maroon 5, Travis Scott, and Big Boy. 2018 was Justin Timberlake. And 2017 was Lady Gaga. So if you look on every single one of these, they're either, like you said, non-white and or definitely left leaning, and I don't care what they do behind the closed doors. I don't care how they vote. When I say left leaning, I'm saying that these are activists for a movement that they use their fame to parlay their message. Okay, so it just is what it is.
Yeah, and there was also I'm going to look up when the actual time is, but
you have Jay-Z picking the artist.
That's what I was
2019.
That's what I was going to ask. I think it was 2019 when Jay-Z took over on who's going to play in the Super Bowl. So
I thought that was when I think it was 2022 is what I thought that was, because that was when 50 Cent that's when who they asked somebody not to be on the show, and that's when that whole thing started. But again, I could be wrong, because there's a controversy behind the one of the halftime shows with Eminem. Eminem made because Eminem made 50 Cent have to be on the show because they didn't want 50 on the show for it. Jay-Z didn't want 50 on the show. So when that was, I believe, 2022. So that's definitely the year. I'm not 100% positive, but the story I'm telling you is without a doubt the thing. There was controversy.
Jay-Z's company Rock Nation officially partnered with the NFL in August 2019. So that would have been 2020's show.
Yeah.
Which I think was The Weeknd. Or maybe he was 21, but I thought he actually did.
2021 was The Weeknd, and then 2022 is where Dr. Dre, Snoop Dogg, Eminem, Mary J. Blige, and Kendrick Lamar, and that was the one where I said there was a controversy about 50 Cent, because he actually came on, but Eminem was like, 50 has to be, they has to do it. Jay-Z did not want 50 Cent there,
which is, I mean, again, I don't know what the reason is, but that's simply crazy. But
they have the whole story behind it because of their beef and all that. Again, I've just watched a bunch of videos on it a while back.
Right. But and again, there I don't think there's anything wrong with having a little bit of this, a little bit of that kind of thing. But like, if you're purposely avoiding like 70% of your audience on purpose year and year over end, it's like Footer said, it's a motion. It's a liberal.
It's a pulpit for you to give your one-sided opinion and to posture
and to tell white America to fuck off.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. Again, this incident, as far as this halftime show and the last 10 years of halftime shows, is definitely consistent with that. Now, let me go a two-parter here. One, I will say, I'll give you a great example of when you had said something like a mishmash or whatever you said, right? A little bit. No, you said like a little bit of this, a little bit of that. Here's a perfect example for Rex's a little of this, a little of that. Let's say, again, I'll go back to Michael Jackson just to make it easy, but Michael Jackson coming on stage and doing one of his, hundreds of hit songs, so he could do anything. Right, you're appealing to pretty much everybody with him, right? Yeah. And then, I mean, again, just let's pretend he didn't sleep with children. I'm just trying to use like and then he decides to do "Beat It." You know what I'm saying? No pun intended. Yeah. And all of a sudden, the guitar solo comes up, and look at this, Slash! Boom, Slash comes out.
Right.
Right. So now you got Slash. He's a rock dude. You know what I'm saying? Michael Jackson. You got the pop artist. I don't know. I'm just
or even like the Aerosmith Run DMC thing, or
bingo,
Limp Bizkit and Method Man or something like that.
Yeah. And then you remember when what the fuck was his name there? Like Prince. When Prince did it that year, there was a year when Prince did it.
Yeah,
it was fucking amazing.
Well, I mean, you know what I mean? And that's the thing is, it's not even like a race thing. It's, when people think of Prince, they don't necessarily, well, he's a black guy. It's he's an American. Like there was many black and fucking Roberto Clemente and
we care. I care nothing about the race.
When that didn't matter. It was like, okay, well, even with Michael Jackson, people are like, that spooks up there. No, there's like, fucking, the guy's talented as shit. You know what I mean? Like it wasn't like he wasn't a representative of an ideology that hated America.
No way. And again,
he loved the youth of America.
Listen, it comes down to, and okay, so second point was, let me play devil's advocate. I don't know enough about.
I thought you were going to do your Pacino. I was waiting for it.
Yeah. I don't know enough about what's the number one pop artist or whatever artist sells the most, whatever the marketing team tells us that is the biggest draw as an artist, right? So if you're telling me it's Bad Bunny, you know what I'm saying? Shame on the country, number one, but that's unrelated. But then, okay, at least there's part of your argument that needs to be at least taken into consideration.
Yeah.
But I don't think he is. But again, I'm not saying he's not popular. Don't misunderstand me. But was that your goal would have to be the biggest and best halftime show to bring the most eyes to the program, so you're getting the biggest dollar ad space, right? Isn't that the goal?
I would think. Yeah.
Does it make sense? Okay,
for sure.
So it sounds logically okay. So it's logically sound. So then you go, okay, now we need to know what is going to do that. Sure, if we said we were going to have a public execution of Maduro and his wife. Yeah, that's going to bring the biggest fucking draw on that Super Bowl halftime show, right?
Mm-hmm.
We can't and wouldn't do that. So
I'd finally watch.
Right, exactly. And there you go. So that is the biggest draw. So I'm not being silly. I'm trying to tell you that they had to make a conscious decision on how many eyes can we get for the reason of this being the greatest artist that everybody embraces, or do we rage bait the people that hate him? You know what I'm saying? At the same time, we get to send our message. Look how we're embracing, Hispanics. We don't want them out of our country. Fuck ICE. You know what I mean? Let's not clip that. So it really does get down to people being honest and taking responsibility. And being consistent. I'll tell you, I got to give them as far as consistent. They're being fucking consistent. They really are. And the NFL should be ashamed of themselves, but it's the almighty dollar. I get it.
For sure. And like there has to, I mean, in marketing, you would think that the crossover would be most popular act at the time with our demographic. Like, you would think that those two things would have to be sort of like the playing factors in whatever decision you're making. Now, I'm sure Bad Bunny's, Mr. Bunny, sir. I'm sure he's very, very popular, but I'd love to see the crossover with the demographics that are actually watching the show. I'm sure 70% of them probably never even heard of him, at least until the hoopla came up. But there's no way in the world that over 50%, and again, I'm being generous, over 50% of the people who consume the Super Bowl, either during it or after, know anything or have any desire to see Mr. Bunny. All due respect.
Yep, and I'm looking up right now. I'm trying to see. I wanted to know the numbers of the TPUSA halftime show.
Yeah.
And what were the numbers on the real halftime show?
Yeah,
I'd like to see. I'd like to see that real quick.
Yeah, as far as I've heard from Andrew Kolvat.
Well, do you want me to tell you? Or
okay, go ahead.
I got it in front of me. Okay, so the major the major Super Bowl show was Bad Bunny with guest Lady Gaga, Ricky Martin. The official show is on total viewers estimated at 135 million to 142.3 million across all platforms.
Right. Yep.
Okay. The TPUSA all-time All-American halftime show. It's fucking crazy. Okay. They peaked at 5.7 to 6.1 million live viewers on YouTube. TPUSA spokesman claims the show reached over 20 to 25 million views when combining YouTube and Rumble totals. So, I mean, that's quite the the difference. So, you know, it's hard to make the case that, you know, marketing wise, it wasn't the right move.
I mean, again,
Shame.
You just have to wonder, like, you don't really have a control. I mean, you can't really use the TPUSA as the control. You know what I mean? Because it's also people getting up from their TV, either switching an app on their smart TV or going to their computer, phone things or whatever.
Yeah. There are 1,000 different, you know, things that could be taken, but you got to be fair though. And this is how it's gauged. So it is what it is. How they, you know what I mean? Like, it's hard to make excuses. Oh, well, you know, a lot of people just get up and yeah, but that's the way we gauge it. So we have to but it's not even close where we can go, okay, even if we halved it for the Super Bowl, it still doubles TPUSA's some show.
Well, let me ask you this then. If you were in control of the halftime show for 2026,
yeah, I'll do it.
All right. Well, you're hiring somebody. You're not doing it yourself. Who would you put on stage?
I was putting me in there.
I'm not saying that you couldn't, you know, gaff or something like that, but you know, who main stage? Who are you putting up?
Oh man, it's exciting. God, I had no meetings about this. I would have got involved with my people. Oh my God. No, they'd hate me because I'd put people in that nobody wanted. But let me think. Okay. So and I'm old, so I really don't know what the finger on the pulse. I guess I go like Bad Bunny, maybe. Lady. No, I'm kidding. That is, I go old Jewish halftime. This is the Mossad coming out and doing this little ditty that it's called Dreidel Dreidel. So all right, who would I have?
Well, I'll give you mine while you think. How's that?
Yeah, do that.
All right, I would probably go. I'd probably do a mix. You know, a little bit of this, a little bit of that. I'd probably go Jason Aldean. Again, not that I'm a huge fan, but he does draw numbers and he is, you know, representative of the people that watch. And then I would go across the aisle and I would pick somebody black to go with him.
Yeah, I mean, you can always do, honestly, I'm not going to pick an artist, but here's what you do. You get somebody from pretty much every genre.
Yeah.
And you have them come and do a melody. They're hits of melody, kind of like I think they've done plenty of times.
I got it. Youngblood.
Boom. Youngblood was your move for sure.
Yeah.
That's it. Youngblood was your shot. And again, not even that we love Youngblood. There's love Youngblood songs that I listen to.
We're going to get into that later.
It's terrible. Yeah, like, you know, but his potential is there. The potential is there.
I thought I would have got something.
I'm sorry. I was getting texted from the course, so I'm sorry.
Oh, that's all right.
How dare you?
All right. I just said we're gonna get into Youngblood later.
No, I'm not. I told you I'm not attracted to him anymore.
Oh, all right.
I made that very clear.
All right, so let's get to the meat and potatoes. So I didn't really know a lot about this. I didn't know. I mean, again, online predators we all know about. But I didn't really hear about the organization 764 until Bongino had mentioned it the other day on his show. And you know, I looked into it, and again, we have several clips that'll go into it. But essentially, what I've found is that a 15-year-old kid, and we'll bring up his bio here in a minute. Started basically doxing and blackmailing other kids online with either having them perform something illegal, injury to animals or pets, or something sexual with themselves or with others, and then they would hold that particular item for ransom. They would say, okay, well, now that you've done this, now that I have that, it's a very reminiscent of, like, what Satan does.
Epstein.
Oh. Yeah, that too. Same thing. So let me just give you sort of a description of what exactly it is. So yeah, bring up that first slide there. 764 is a violent crime extremist network that targets minors and vulnerable individuals that through coercion, sexual exploitation, and psychological abuse. 764 is a decentralized online network that emerged in 2021, founded by Bradley Chance Cadenhead, a teenager who learned exploitative techniques on a Discord server called CVLT.
Worst name ever, by the way.
Clovet, or his name?
No, his name. Bradley Chance Candidhead. Candid, anything with the last name and just ends in head is terrible, just for the record.
That's true. Yeah, I'll have to talk about you something about a guy I went to school with that, whatever. The network operates primarily...
Timothy Gimme Head?
Yeah. Wilt Moorhead.
Yeah, that could be.
The network operates primarily on platforms like Discord, Telegram, Roblox, and Minecraft, and its members engage in grooming, sextortion, and they screw with minors. The group has been described as a terror network by the U.S. Department of Justice and is considered a top-tier investigative matter by the FBI.
That's good to know. I'm glad they're taking it serious.
Well, you'd like to think that they're, it's, and Bongino did mention that. He said that within a day or two of him going there, they let him into a room where, again, they do like the debrief or whatever of what's going on. And he's like, after like a week or whatever, they would come in and just share these videos. He's like, dude, I don't need to see any more videos. Just tell me what's going on. I don't need to see it physically. Because the videos are that disgusting.
Yeah. That's got to be a fucking brutal job. Not meaning true up on Gino's, but just that, like anything like the sex crimes industry.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, how you like? I watch these cop cams, or if I watch like the interrogation videos, how these officers. And we did highlight on one of our cop cam things that we did where the officer really couldn't handle it, just was bitching the guy out. But like, think about like some of these like crimes against kids, like any like these that CCAC,
what?
It's whatever, the child online cyber whatever.
Oh, okay.
Whatever you like with the predator. My cock. So like anything in that industry has got to be absolutely, like, how do you not, if you are interrogating him, how do you not fucking kill him? Like, how is every interrogation video he's not pulled in there brutally beaten up, and then he's sitting there and like, oh, I'm so sorry you fell, we're gonna get you some medical attention for that. Like, that should be every video you see,
that was the beauty of the 70s, you know what I mean, when that would actually happen. There was actually like deterrent not to go. Again, that's the thing that I've always said. You have to be scared of consequence. You have to be scared of God, scared of your parents, scared of society, or scared of the cops. You have to be scared of something. Otherwise, if you have that fourth wall broken down, there's nothing that's going to stop you from feeding your baser instincts.
Right. And it's so hard to, like, that fine line. Like, I'm okay with you tuning up a sexual pred, you know what I'm saying? But like, I don't want you planting drugs on a black guy because he's black. You know what I mean? But yet I'm like, I want you to bend the rules, but I can you fairly bend them? Like,
yeah,
there's because you don't want like a bad Apple cop to bend the rules. You only want like a good cop to bend the rules.
Yeah.
But again, and obviously, guys, I'm kidding. Take that with a grain of salt, because the moral inconsistencies are horrible. I would be considered the devil, just doing things on a moral high ground, what I think is the right thing to do. So don't misunderstand me. I'm just saying I wouldn't be 100% opposed to it in my heart.
Or at least having the criminals think that it's a possibility. We could just go with that.
Oh, like, how about this? Like, almost maybe not picking up as quick until you kind of let the uncle and the father and a few of his friends know, you know what I'm saying, where he is, and you'll be coming to get him. and you have enough charges on him to think that, yeah, this really happened. He's at 76 Broadway. We're going to be there in about, I don't know, 45 minutes work for you, knowing he's 25 minutes away. You know what I mean? Okay, see you there. And you just find him tuned up on the front lawn.
Well, how about we just do like, you know how they, they started doing the state lottery for, the benefits of schools. How about we start doing like prison lottery where just, everybody's name gets thrown to a hat. Everybody that's incarcerated. Doesn't even matter if you're in a local jail or in like Supermax. Everybody's name gets thrown into a thing, and every week we pick one and just murder them.
Okay, but let's ease up on the rules a little bit. Let's like, I don't want to fucking whatever get caught peeing in the bushes and getting taken in for a fucking, or driving without a license ticket. Next thing I know, I'm in the mix to fucking be executed. I'd rather not take that chance. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Don't get me wrong. Don't drive. I'm just saying. My point is, I get it. I see the deterrent. But whatever. There's a lot of different things that come into play. You know what I'm saying?
Maybe we can wait. We can wait the like if you're in Supermax, you get three of your names thrown in. If you're in local jail, you only get your first name thrown in.
Yeah, but again, be very careful. Like I said, let's just make it where, convicted of a crime, not in jail. Anybody convicted of a crime.
Nah, I want everybody that's been arrested. If you
that's smart.
No, I'm not saying if you're already out. I'm saying if you're in custody,
somebody's accusing you of something. Oh, bro, you're gonna be in so much trouble one day, God forbid, of just circumstances. Oh,
just so you know, this is never gonna happen. I'm just kind of playing this up for entertainment purposes. We really don't have to hash out the details here.
Okay, we have like an hour to kill, so it doesn't hurt.
Well, we only have 14 minutes, so all right. So here is some. I think it's the tactics. I think is the next slide of what they use. Activities and method. Members of the 764 befriend vulnerable children and teens online, often exploiting emotional struggles or isolation. They coerce victims into producing sexually explicit materials, committing acts of self-harm, harming animals, or performing violent acts. Some victims have been pressured to live stream self-harm or participate in swatting events where false emergency calls are made to provoke police responses. The network's ultimate goal includes creating social unrest and undermining societal structures, including governments. Do you really think that that's actually like their goal?
I mean, I'm sorry, go ahead. Do
obviously,
you?
No, I was going to say people obviously a lot smarter than I have made the decision, but to me, it's more of a power thing.
It seems that way, at least the way it sounded, it went without a doubt.
Yeah. And pull up that third slide. I don't remember.
Yeah, that's what I was going to.
You want to read this one?
764 specifically targets minors aged 9 to 17, exploiting their vulnerabilities and emotional challenges. Awareness and parental vigilance are critical as the network uses popular online platforms to manipulate groomed children. Recognizing warning signs, maintaining open communication, and monitoring online activities are essential steps to protect children from such predatory networks. Yeah, obviously, guys. I mean, Jesus. Again, I'm not saying, doing 100% doing the right thing is going to, not have your child fall prey to something like this. But again, the kid wants to play Roblox. He should be able to play Roblox. This is the disgusting part of this. You know what I mean? Like, for Christ's sake, like the platform has to do a better job. Bottom line.
Well, and it's all again. I don't fully understand. I know my daughter plays Roblox occasionally. She doesn't do it as much anymore. But like, I don't understand why a lot of these things have a social media feature. Like you're playing a game. Why exactly do you need to talk to somebody else while you're doing it in private? Like, you know what I mean? Like if you want to have like messages pop up and people are talking while you're in a group of people, that's fine. But why is there an option to be able to talk one-on-one with it? Why would they build that in?
Bingo. And there again, there you go. Like, we would love to think, like, I've made it very clear when my girls were doing that, playing Roblox and stuff at that age, under no chance are you ever to have a private message with anybody through these things. And then we'd obviously check, you know what I'm saying? But we made that clear, right? But as you said, that option shouldn't even be in there. If some buddy wants to manipulate your child, you know what I'm saying? They can do it. Why is it in there? It makes no sense.
Well, I mean,
platform issue.
It's the argument that that keeps getting brought up on why there is a defense of it. Why? Who is what good reason would they have to have this option available? What good reason do politicians have to defend pornographic websites from having to make sure the person that's viewing it is of age, at least? And they do make the argument.
Even that, there's workarounds. You know what I mean?
But I mean, at least, again, if you were to walk into a store and buy pornographic material or alcohol or anything else, you have to show a license. Why does it change when it goes on? Even if you go online, you have to show some kind of a license to gamble. You have to show some kind of a license to buy wine and have it delivered to you.
And all kidding around, and I'm telling you the truth. If I looked at porn, I would tell you, hey, I looked at porn. That's how I know this. I don't, because it was a big thing. Florida, you can't look at porno at all. If you're on a computer or on your phone, you cannot look at porn without registering your license.
And again,
or not registering your license or whatever. Like, I don't know. But you somehow, like, you have to verify with ID or something of that nature. It was like a big thing.
And it's a logical step. It's the same,
right? Nothing wrong with looking at porn, but you have to be an adult. Bottom line.
And
again, there is things wrong with porn, but sorry.
Well, even the argument, give me a reason why, if you go to vote, you shouldn't have to show an ID. Like, they take these stances and they build in these sort of traps for an indefensible reason all of the time, and people still seem to be okay with it. Well, it's a freedom thing, or blacks can't get a license. What the fuck is wrong with you? Like, your stance is really because demographics that vote for you are unable for some reason that you're implying that they can't get a license, or well, it's shameful to put your license in for porn. It should be. Shame is a good thing. It's the same thing with when we're talking about EBT cards the other day. Like, you should feel some shame using an EBT. Now, shame is a motivation. It's a motivating factor. It doesn't necessarily have to be a bad thing.
Can I alter? Yeah, I was gonna say, can I alter the shame to a little different word? Still gives the same pop for you.
Sure.
But just hear this out as being logical. People should feel guilt over it. I don't want you to necessarily feel shamed. Like, I don't want you to go in and be embarrassed by it. But because to me, there's no reason for that. If you don't care, you don't care. You're not going to feel that. But you should feel guilt, and guilt will weigh on you to make you try and change that so you don't feel the guilt. Does that make sense as far as the difference between guilt and shame? You're still getting the same thing, but one doesn't, like, you don't have to be humiliated. You know what I'm saying? And shame comes with humiliation. And I don't think it's going to help, because the mechanism, instead of feeling the humiliation, will be to lash out. You know what I'm saying? So we can accomplish the same exact thing that you want to accomplish by just making it more a guilt, where you feel like horrible about it. You know what I mean? I don't think you need to be publicly shamed. You know what I mean? Is my point.
I'm not sure that guilt is somewhat is less harsh than shame. Like take
I don't know if it's less harsh. I just know it's different, because I've dealt with both. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Truly,
Well,
that's how I know it's different.
Like take Jim Braddock, for example, the guy from Cinderella Man. Obviously fell on hard times for a lot of different reasons. Number one, the depression. Number two, breaking his hand and whatever. I would argue that he felt shame, but he didn't feel guilt. Because again,
it's so hard to follow. I didn't see Cinderella Man. I know nothing about it, so it's very hard for me to follow. Anyway, so I apologize.
A boxer in the 30s, who was doing great, making money, things, whatever. Depression happened, and fell in horrible times. Ended up living in a shanty with his kids. His kids ended up going to live with somebody else. Broke his hand, so he couldn't even box. He was, working on the docks with a broken hand, and eventually, to get his kids back, he went and got food stamps to get his kids back so he could feed them. But ultimately came back. Cinderella story. That's kind of where it comes from. And then paid the money back to the government that he had used for that. My point is that I think he was ashamed to go to get food stamps or government assistance, but I don't think he necessarily felt guilty.
Was he? I'm sorry. Was he? I don't know the story. So where the shame, he should feel shamed if he was getting food stamps when he didn't deserve it. That's shameful. If he needed them and he got them, he shouldn't feel shameful. He should feel guilty because he knows in his heart that he shouldn't be doing this. This isn't right. He let people down. You know what I'm saying? He let himself down. So he should feel guilty about that. If he's not scamming them, the ones that should walk in with shame are the ones that are scamming the system. Shame on you. You're using something for people that need it, and you're capable of. Do you see? All I'm asking you, do you see the difference?
Oh, I certainly do. And I'm in my own head, I'm confused on which.
I don't know which one's worse to feel. I mean, because I know they're both horrible. But if you want, my point to all this was that the outcome that we both want, I think shame. First of all, I just think it's when someone's shameful, right? Like, I think that it makes them like almost the trigger reaction is to like almost like lash out. Like if you feel ashamed of something, like, you know what I'm saying, you're like, oh, well, but when it's internal and you feel guilty of something, like you've acknowledged the shame and you've put it back on where it's supposed to be.
Well, now in my head, I'm arguing, is there a difference between a shame and feeling shame? Because maybe in my head, like I see shame as a motivation. I mean, it can obviously motivate negative or positive. But I feel guilt as more of a degradation.
Maybe shaming someone into feeling guilty. Maybe that would maybe.
Okay, now my brain just short circuited. I'm done. Good night, everybody.
Okay. Well, no, I'm just saying that, like, I don't know if people need to like what should we? Okay, perfect example, right? I don't think it would behoove anybody for a memo to come out to everybody in town. Part of the town's law is that everybody on food stamps, there's a list of them that's available, that's sent out to everybody because they want these people to be on notice that Janet Matambo is getting food stamps. I didn't. I made her Italian. Matambo. It was Montombolo, but they changed it at the island.
Yeah, because I didn't hear him right. But I don't think that there should ever be an external implication of shame. I think it's an internal feeling. Yeah, absolutely. You shouldn't be you shouldn't people of means shouldn't be shaming people of or making people feel guilty, if we're going to use those two terms.
No, that's fine.
Yeah, it's an internal thing. You know what I mean?
Then that's more, to me, that's more, you can feel shamed, or feel ashamed, but if you want people to be shamed, I think.
Oh yeah, no. Yeah, no. I didn't mean that. I gave that implication.
Okay, so that's the thing that I was confused about, because yet on the flip side, like I said, is let's say we caught you scamming the system. I would have no problem with your name being plastered everywhere that you scammed the system. I have no problem with shaming that person into what is proven that they've done. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. But maybe the then guilt that they felt from that would make them not do it again, type of deal, if that makes sense.
Right. No, I agree. All right. So the first video we have is actually a guy on PBD, which stands for Patrick Bet David. I don't know if you knew that or not. And he's
PB&J, by the way, is peanut butter and jelly.
Yeah, and you can only use strawberry grape is for blacks. All right, so go ahead and pull up that first video if you could.
Cadenhead. Yeah, I think that would be the person they arrested that they characterized as being in a leadership position, and a number of people have been arrested. And what's interesting about this group is how they recruited young people online, and that some of those people were in the video gaming community, and that adjacent to that, there would be areas online where they would recruit these people.
I wish I knew who that guy was, because it seems like I do know who he is, but I just can't figure it out.
Yeah, the voice sounds familiar.
You could see that, right?
Yes, sir. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I was just making sure. All right. So the next one, and then the third one, I'd like to have Footer sort of weigh in on it, because it goes right into his religious wheelhouse. So the second one is a news broadcast from Chicago talking about, I think, a specific case.
It's described as an extremist network using various platforms to prey on vulnerable children here and around the world. For the past 6 months, the I-Team, along with ABC News, investigating the disturbing rise of 764. Federal law enforcement now referring to this web of danger as modern-day terrorism.
This network originally came together based on the activity of this young man, and he started this child sexual predator network on the Discord gaming channel back in 2021.
Yeah, that guy I actually have an email into, so I'm hoping to have him on so he can further explain what's going
on. Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. Go ahead. There's probably more to explain what it is, right?
So yeah, the third guy, which is, again, this is something and we also have a video of a woman recounting her experiences too. But this guy,
those guys are saying a whole lot of nothing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
These fucking guys.
This guy is an ex-FBI agent who is an expert on satanic rituals and the occult, and he's kind of tying the two together, which I think is fascinating.
The demons and angel stuff, you're going to find that Satanism, and then you've got that group that's out now.
I have no idea.
So that's another one. They are not necessarily all white supremacists, but they are accelerationists, heavily satanic. And when you get into that Order of Nine Angles and that 764, so it's horrific stuff. It's Satanism, and they're like going online. And most of the ones they've been flipping, or entrapping is what I should say, is tweens, and it's boys. So they'll get somebody, and there's like even a scoring system. So they will either get you to do something bad on camera, and now they've got it, and now they're sextorting you, or just extorting you, period. And they're having like live view parties where you have to harm yourself, cut yourself open, and they're watching it. And they're telling you if you don't do that, they're going to send it out and basically dox you, but spread it all over the place. And it's very, very evil. And they even call it like a bean. So if you cut a bean open, like a navy bean or a lima bean, you know, that white. So when you cut through the fat, if you cut all the way through, that fat looks like the inside of a bean. So they call it a bean. That's just one of the things.
Wow.
It's pretty sick, demonic stuff out there. If you scratch at the surface long enough on these accelerationist groups, at least up until the time I retired and thereafter, you're going to find probably somebody in there with an order of 9 angles or some kind of satanic stuff going.
Yeah. So my first question, Footers, do you know anything about what he's talking about, the 9 angles?
No, I do not. I know nothing about that. Is he a preacher?
He's ex-FBI. I'm not sure exactly what he does now.
Okay. Anyway, I don't know. He looked familiar to me, but and as I'm listening to him, I'm thinking, I'm in my head, I'm going, well, like, who wants to see anybody cut themselves? Like,
look, even when he said that, I kind of
yes, and then, but even like, I really did try to like dig into like the deepest, darkest places in my head at the moment and go, like, there's just like, there's nothing in the world that would want me to see that. Like, there's nothing that would like, or even orchestrate that. Now, with that being said, as I'm listening, it clicks in and goes, well, of course, because you're not a fucking psychopath.
Right.
You know what I mean? Of course you don't want to see that, which in lies why they're so crazy. So I get all of it. It's just so mind-blowing to me that there's such evils in this world that and they've always existed. Look, we just didn't hear about it as much because we didn't have the process of distributing information so quick. But the sexual exploitation of children has always been going on at such a high level. It was just always so covered up. We still don't find that about the ones from 30, 40 years ago now, because it was so taboo that the people that are the victims didn't have the resources and things to be able to talk about it, and they've just buried it and they'll never talk about it. You know what I mean?
Right.
But it really just, it's sickening. What's the 9 angles?
So it's a European cult. The Order of the 9 Angles is a secretive UK-based satanic neo-Nazi and accelerationist group established around the 1960s. It promotes extremist ideology, including fascism and social Darwinism, advocating for violence and illegal acts, leading to its classification as a terrorist-related group.
Yeah, all the things, if you're doing all these horrible things, at that point, I really don't even care your political ideology. You're not representing, like, you know what I'm saying? You're not representing any,
Well, that's even what I was kind of saying when they were saying, well, their main goal is to create chaos and things. Whatever. Again, to me, it has nothing to do with that. It's a power move. It's a sick, demented way to exert power and to get off in weird ways.
And I would have to think
some higher moral or some higher goal to create social disorder or swing a fucking election.
Right, to have that power. Yeah. And the funny thing is, I would have to believe, Rex, honestly, like, even sometimes, whether it's as stupid as us coming up with an idea and go, oh, we should do a show on this. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's be a point where they go, holy fuck, like, this is working? Mm-hmm. Like, whoa, hold on, what's going on here? You know what I mean? I can't believe they had the same drive as like a Charlie Kirk that wants to start TPUSA. You kind of know what I mean?
Right.
Like,
well, not only that, but I mean, also the fact that, this group was, started by a 15-year-old. You can't tell me that he has the higher mind of, well, this is going to swing the 2030 election. I just got to put in the fucking work now.
Exactly. Like, yeah, some 16-year-old douche on Discord has that type of, stay-to-itiveness,
wherewithal.
It's ridiculous. Which is, again, why, even going back to the Charlie Kirk and Tyler Robinson shit, that I really do believe this was, and as you've said it many times, this is just something that snowballed. And it was like, holy shit, we're here. What? Yeah, you know what I mean? Wait, yeah, no, Like I'm here. Like legit, I'm here. You're there? Yeah. Like I'm gonna take the shot. Okay.
Yeah, whatever,
Oh,
buddy.
yeah, I got him. What? Yeah, no. Look at the news. I got him. Oh,
Yeah. It's
like
just fucking obvious. I don't know. Again, I don't want to get into it again, but it's just so fucking obvious.
And again, if it's something bigger, because I can see it has to be just that, or the bigger one of this tedious planning, but by a higher power. Who that is? You want to call it the Jews? You want to call it the French? You want to whoever, the left, the right, whoever it was, fine. But those are the only two scenarios. Got nothing to do with time travel. It's got nothing to do with dreams. It's got nothing to do with text messages. It's got nothing to do with any of that. There is some controversy, as I said. It might be that, look who's involved here. A lot of, you know what I'm saying? A lot of thumbs in the pudding.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? As the kids say. Or two bumbling idiots. Look at the Three Stooges. They just hit, they just hit Charlie Kirk with with an eye poke, and he forgot to do the old fucking block.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like either one is one, but that's about as far as we can go here, people.
Yeah,
that's it.
And again, I'm not going to get into it, but I will mention to you because I did want to
because I want to see you react like a lunatic. But go ahead. Yeah.
There is a lot of evidence now that's coming up from Candace's mouth that she had a lot of motivation and anger and resentment towards Charlie and Erica and TPUSA, which seems to be manifesting itself, and nobody else is seeming to pick up on it. But she said herself that,
She said that.
Yeah, she said that that was the reason that she left TPUSA because Charlie Kirk openly lied to her face, and so again, we could flesh out another time, but she said that there was a long time where she didn't even want to talk to Charlie because of how he openly lied to her face, and it had to do with funding from a Jewish person that he didn't tell her about, and she's probably like, honestly, like, I don't get how in her head she's like, oh, okay, I'm gonna shift the narrative back to the Jews. You know what I'm saying? Okay, Candace, but then you're contradicting and making yourself look worse. Like you're not deflecting here. You're just making it worse for yourself. Yeah.
Goes back to, again, she has to be a fucking mentally retarded lunatic.
Yeah.
And if she's not, she's just a dummy. And I can't believe she's dumb. I can't.
I just had this conversation with Jen this morning. I said, I can't even watch her anymore. And again, it was sort of self-flagellation.
You have to.
No, I can't. It just makes me very angry.
Good. You need, Jen, then you need to just watch it and just summarize the shows for us. Because that's it. That's entertainment, folks. I mean, to watch such a fall from grace. Oh, what a fall from grace. I don't even, let me ask you this. Has there been anything more on the Macrons and her? Has she talked at all about that?
No, not really. Unless, Jen, if you could think of anything that she's mentioned on that.
Because I was just here, like, again, this was somebody just said something in passing, how it wasn't looking good for her now, where I always felt like at least that one she had it in the bag. You think that's not in the bag now? You think Macron has a vagina?
Which one?
No, the president. The main guy.
Well, I didn't know if you meant him or his wife.
Oh, I know, and I was referencing to him.
Yeah. The problem, that the reason that I don't really have any information on that is because the only information that I actually gleaned from that whole thing is from Candace, so she wouldn't mention it even if that was the case. But we can certainly look into that, because that might actually be sort of an interesting angle, just to see, the argument from the other side, just to see if indeed she does have a case or if she doesn't.
And right. Again, just to be fun, just for the fun of it. So
yeah. All right. So in a not so fun, but in a sort of a positive note. This is a recounting of a girl's experience with 764 and how she actually got out of it. Now, again, this isn't the girl; it's not her voice, but it really does kind of tell you the depths of what they get into.
Pretty much when I was 13, I met a boy on TikTok and we became friends in early 2023, and everything was fine until one day. I had made a joke. I'm not too sure what the joke was, as it's hard to remember, but it was just a friendly joke, and he had taken it very seriously and somehow used a tool on the internet using my phone number to grab my address, my school, and my full name. He then proceeded to swat me, and the police came to my house with guns and searched through my house. A couple days later, I got added to a group chat on Discord, and it was 764 members, threatening me, saying if I didn't cut myself, they would proceed to call the police to my house again. I was scared as I was only 13, but I stood my ground and said no and left the group chat and blocked them all. For months leading up to 2024, they harassed me and tried to call Child Protective Services to my house and even email my school, and they would send me videos of the things they made their other victims do. They even ended up doxing me as well. My dox was removed as I was 13, and to dox someone they need to be above the age of 15, which I find disgusting as 15 is still a minor. Doxing is an app called Doxfin. If you search it up on Google, you will see people's full names, addresses. It's close to what the dark web is, just with people's information. The police dropped the case as they couldn't find the people who did it, even though the police was well informed. Thankfully, everything in my life is fine now, and I've been left alone, and they have no contact with me.
I could have done without the fucking Torrentino fucking display of the whole thing, but you get the idea.
Yeah. You know, the I hate to keep going back to this, but how, like, after this first incident that happened, right?
Mm-hmm.
How are their parents? And then and then they started sending me videos of what they're going to do, what they've done to. How are you even getting? Like, again, I'm not blaming the victim. I'm not really blaming the victim parents. The pieces of shit, the 764s are the pieces of shit. Okay, without a doubt.
Right.
But again, we need to ask ourselves, why is this child on the internet again? Apparently, listen, we do, as I said earlier, we do our best as parents. We try to educate our children. Let's say then we make the choice where we go, you know what, we're going to put some responsibility on these kids and see what they got. Obviously, the right thing to do. Let's say you grant them what you grant them. You still monitor it, right? Then let's say something happens like this just happened. Okay. Right. The one gracious thing, maybe the wrong thing that you did, you made the decision as the parent to do, right? It didn't work. You took the shot. It didn't work. Thank God it wasn't more than what it was on the decision that you made that, you know, now in hindsight played out wrong for you, right?
Right.
How does this happen again? How is the internet even a part of the child's life in any way at all anymore?
Well, I mean, and the thing is like, I'm sure you remember from childhood. I'm sure you even know of people that your girls talk about. Like, and I can think of at least 3 kids that my daughter talks about where, like, even as a third party, and you're not even, like, you can see the trouble coming from a mile away. There's a girl that my daughter used to hang out with, and the you know, the mother kind of allowed her to get the bullnose ring, and again, it's Ramona's age. Get the bullnose ring. You know, they act like they're best friends. There's not like a mother-daughter dynamic. It's like a best friends dynamic. Like we see, like, the things that she's posted. Like, I don't understand. And again, I'm sure you can think of 2 kids or 3 kids right off the bat, either from sports, but you know it's coming. How do these parents not know, or that they just not care?
Well, even and I'll let's just say, again, I'm not going to say it's the flip side because I don't know the status of this young lady you speak of, but you know, in the area, and because my kids went through very a fancy school in a fancy area, they interacted with very entitled children. Okay,
Right.
very entitled. Where from the outside looking in, they've had everything. The parents have it all down right. There, you see them in church. We're all in Catholic school, right? But with that also, comes where, like you said, the best friend thing and stuff like that. I'm not telling you to give your children a little bit of leeway with the leash, we'll say, right? But if you're going to give them enough to hang themselves, not the anomaly of you gave a little, the worst case scenario happened, they hung themselves. No, if you give them enough to hang themselves, they're going to. You know what I mean? And these parents, because of this entitlement, and they felt like they did it all right, they never took it into the consideration that it's a child. You know what I mean? And they let the too many of the situations. They almost gave the kid no choice but to become a fucking problem. You know what I mean? They supplied every avenue to give this kid a fucking an issue, whether it become drinking, whether it become smoking marijuana, whether it become fooling around with boys, being promiscuous, whatever. You know what I mean? But like, hey, you want to leave your 14-year-old because you think they're responsible while you guys go out to dinner and things of that nature, and even say to them, hey, you can have some friends over. Again, a lot of parents wouldn't allow that at all, right? Some parents would allow that. I don't think either one would be wrong, right? If you did your right job as a parent. But if you were going to think that there's no shot that something could happen, you're fucking delusional, right? So let me caveat by saying, so let's just say that it was just, hey, we're going to be out to dinner for 4 hours. You can have friends over, right? Let's say most of the time nothing happens, because that's pretty lenient. But then it's, hey, we're going out, we're doing an overnight stay. We've let them stay before on their own. Now it becomes, we'll be back. We're leaving at 4 p.m. one day. We'll be back the next morning at 10 o'clock. That's a fucking problem. That little extra leash you gave them, you know what I mean?
Right.
Is a fucking problem. And God.
I was going to say, and also every kid is different.
Right. So these, you may let your kids stay for the weekend, okay, and have teenagers. Like I know that I know that people have done things that maybe in my under my tutelage I wouldn't have allowed. You know what I mean? And you know what? In hindsight, it worked out great. It was a fine decision that was made. You know what I mean? With that being said, it's like you really need to be careful. You need to be careful.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Sure.
But kudos to the decision that made, because it worked out great for everybody, all the parties involved. Kudos for the children that they did the right thing and were responsible. You know what I'm saying? Maybe next time I would not be worried, type of deal. You know what I'm saying? Because of the outcome.
Yep.
But I mean, it's not cut and dry,
That is for sure. So I guess the main message, just be a parent. All right. Be there when your kids need you, and even when they're not. So
be aware, but will make you a better parent if you're aware of Roblox. You're aware of social media. You know what I mean? Then you could be a better parent. You can't just blindly go around, and then when something happens, you can't blame social media. You can't blame the app. You can't blame because as Jen said earlier, these apps, they do have third-party apps that you can have control of what your kids do. So I can concede to you, hey, sometimes kids need to have that in their society. It's different times than it was when we were. Okay, fine, I'll grant you that. But again, going back, Jen brought up the third-party apps. They're there for a reason.
Yep.
You can have concession and still do it safe. So anyway, thanks everybody for listening. We'll get back to some good stuff going on again. It's just we got a lot going on, so we're gonna have some fun over the next couple of days. So anyway, God bless everybody. Thank you for listening and appreciate you.
Yeah, and also we hopefully next week we'll have a special guest on the show. More information with that will follow. But it's
I think you can announce it.
Yeah, we're gonna have Giovanni from Giovanni and the Hired Guns. Hopefully next Tuesday. Again, we're sort of scheduling it out. He's getting ready to go on tour, so that'll be.
That was one of the bands, by the way, guys, that we played the other day. When we were doing music, we were making the Good Charlotte Association with them a little bit.
Yeah, and I did listen to one of his acoustic songs. It was a cover of one of his big hits or whatever. But yeah, very, very, very listenable. So that'll be fun.
Yeah, and the good thing, I'm so glad that I did say that I didn't hate him, like that I liked it. So
yeah,
that helped. Because it's hard. Like, we've had bands on our other show that I did not like. You know what I mean? And they were like rock bands. They're supposed to be writing my. Do you remember the?
Filter?
No.
Who the hell did we have that you didn't like?
They were heavy, dude, and we got them from.
Oh yeah.
I did not like them. Anyway, I didn't lie. I just didn't say I didn't like them. You know what I mean?
It wasn't Mammoth SVH, but it was something. Yeah, I know who it is, and I can't think of it either. But anyway, all right. If you're listening on iTunes, iHeart, Spotify, YouTube, Twitch, whatever, come on over to Rumble, like, subscribe, buy the premium, and have a great night.